Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Phantoms
and Psychos.
It's only been
2.5 months.
Yeah, a while. This episode is about aliens.
Oh yeah,
if you're watching us on YouTube, then you see the alien pillow. And you also see my cat, Bucky, Cody. Actually, he's under the camera, so you probably can't see him.
No!
Cody, stop! Anyway, this episode I will be talking about Roswell, New Mexico, a UFO cover-up. Maybe, possibly.
Most likely.
Or was it just a weather balloon crash?
It might just be a cover-up for something else.
That's true.
I mean, it is the government.
Yeah. Would I say, if you think the government never lies to you, then you're really... what did I say?
Really naive.
Yeah, you're really naive. In 1947, in the last 6 months of 1947, to be specific, there was over 300 UFO sighting claims. So just 300 individual people will be like, I saw something in the air. That's what people from New Mexico sound like, apparently. I'm sorry, anyone from New Mexico that's listening to this, if I offended you. In 1947, something crashed in the middle of the fields of Foster Ranch sometime before June 14th. So they don't have a, specific date, but a crash did happen around that time. On July 4th, a rancher named Mac Brazel visited the site of the crash and picked up some debris. And then on July 7th, Brazel took the debris to Sheriff George Wilcox, which, he waited a while to, be like, oh, I found this crash stuff.
To be fair, if you found that, would you go to anyone about it?
Yeah, I guess it was probably just this is some weird stuff.
It's how do you tell anyone that?
That's the same thing with me, people finding dead bodies.
And not going to the cops.
How would I tell some, do I just call 911 and be like, yeah, there's a dead body? What's the protocol
But then,
there?
also, you become a suspect because you found the body.
Yeah. Wilcox contacts Colonel Butch Blanchard at Roswell Army Airfield, which is an Air Force base. Blanchard calls his boss, General Roger W. Ramey, and orders Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer for the 59th, to access the crash site and recover the materials left behind. Major Marcel briefs Colonel Blanchard on his visit, and then on July 8th, Blanchard orders Lieutenant Walter Holt to issue a press release stating that they believe they found a flying saucer. And it got published by Roswell Daily Record on the front page. And then people freaked out and they were like, what? A saucer? Aliens? No details were revealed about the crash site, just that a flying saucer was found. So that's why everyone was like, wait, what, aliens exist and stuff?
To be fair, if it happened here in Florida, we'd just be like, what are these people on?
Or we'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
Florida's a
But since
wild
people
place.
kind of lost their shit, the Air Force, on the same day the release happened, they changed the story, and General Ramey was ordered to be taken to Fort Worth, Texas ordered the crash things to be taken to Fort Worth, Texas to get it inspected professionally. Which I don't know why they wouldn't have a lab at their Air Force base. Would there be a lab at Air Force Base? I don't know. I don't know how Air Force bases work.
Me either.
That staff identifies them as pieces of a weather balloon. And so he took a photo with it the next day on July 9th with Marcel, who originally inspected the crash debris and said that it was a UFO, basically. They released another headline at Roswell Daily Record, and it read, "Harassed rancher who found saucer. Sorry he told about it." Which is so Wow, snippy headline. And Brazel says that the UFO was just rubber strips, tinfoil, and a rather tough paper, and sticks. And then Daniel Ramsey says in his press release that the weather balloon theory is corroborated by witnesses and everyone just forgets about it. Until 1978, a man named Stenton Friedman, a nuclear physicist and leading UFO researcher, which, what a cool title.
Yeah.
Interviewed Major Jesse Marcel, who assessed the crash, and who said he still believed the wreckage was definitely not a weather balloon. A quote from an interview said, "It felt like you had nothing in your hands. It wasn't any thicker than the foil out of a pack of cigarettes. But the thing about it, the thing that got me, is you couldn't even bend it. You couldn't dent it. Even with a sledgehammer, it would bounce off it."
Wait, so did he just sit there and try to destroy it when he was there inspecting it?
I guess. I was like, I know I've never seen anything like that before. Another person who was involved with the crash site materials, he said that he balled it up in his hand and it just like reformed back to like normal tinfoil.
Wouldn't that be so nice to have?
It's sort of like kinetic sand in a way.
Yeah, but like tinfoil. Kinetic tinfoil.
His quote continues, "It was not like anything from this earth that I'm quite sure of. Being an intelligence officer, I was familiar with just about all materials used in aircraft and or air travel. This was nothing like that, and it could not have been." So yeah, the intelligence officer that assessed the crash was like, this is not a weather balloon. This tinfoil is like the strongest tinfoil I've ever seen. Where was I? So after this, Friedman, the leading UFO researcher guy, interviewed more witnesses in the military and civilian people as well, and found that there had been a massive cover-up of the Roswell incident in 1947, a quote, cosmic Watergate.
What's a cosmic Watergate?
Well, you know Watergate, right?
Oh, so, okay. I get it.
Cosmic as in like...
Yeah,
okay.
I get it.
Okay, so the cover-up also includes crash site materials, description of the crash site, recovered spacecraft, even alien bodies found at the scene. Cool,
interesting.
Right? And in 1994,
Can we get a description of those bodies?
Yes.
Oh.
They will be coming soon.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Short
I'm getting ahead of you.
Short and gray.
Oh, so the standard alien.
Yeah. The one that you'll see in like science fiction movies and stuff.
Not Green Little Men.
No, short and gray. So like Green Little Men, but gray.
Yeah.
In 1994, the Air Force did admit that there was in fact a cover-up, but not aliens, a top-secret military op, and Cody just bit my foot. Cody, stop.
I'm really glad my feet are covered, because he likes to bite my feet.
Anyway, a top-secret military op which states there remains not aliens, but a top-secret military op that states the remains were a weather balloon, but not a regular weather balloon. A balloon and part of the top-secret program called Project Mogul, which was conceived by Dr. Maurice Ewing at Columbia University.
Interesting.
He theorized that just as underwater mics can detect sound waves produced by explosions thousands of miles away, maybe an airborne monitoring system could do the same, and Project Mogul balloons were launched to detect any nuclear tests carried out by the Soviets. So what did you think of Project Mogul? Do you think that's a acceptable...
That's complete bullshit. They're never going to tell you what they were actually covering up.
Yeah.
Government tell you the truth? Ever?
Although, Project Mogul was a thing.
Okay, but probably wasn't what they were telling us it was.
Well, Project Mogul test sites were in several locations around the U.S. in the Pacific. Project Mogul test sites were in several locations around the U.S. and the Pacific, and one of the locations was over in New Mexico in the summer of 1947. The balloons typically measured over 650 feet long and had audio and sensory equipment that was attached, which could possibly be misidentified as a UFO.
I still think it's bullshit. They're never going to tell you what they were actually up to. That was just a cover-up.
And in February 1994, the General Accounting Office at U.S. Congress initiated an audit at the request of New Mexico Congressman Steve Schiff, a skeptic, to locate all government records related to the Roswell incident and determine if these records were handled properly. The report was published by the Air Force in 1995, which was titled The Roswell Report: Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert. The audit supported a theory that the debris was from Project Mogul and no evidence of aliens or alien spacecraft were involved. However, the guy that initiated the audit doesn't believe in aliens, so he could have influenced it in some way.
Also, it's the government. If the government's like, you fucking write it this way and don't let anything out.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to be like, no, I'm going to stand up to y'all and then end up dead, or...
Yeah. What are you going to do against the government?
Yeah.
In 1997, the Air Force released another report titled Roswell Report: Case Closed, where their possible explanation for claims to alien bodies found at the crash site in 1950. In 1950, the military tested the effects of parachute jumping on humans dropping human-like dummies over New Mexico. They had latex or plastic skin and was possibly mistaken for the alien bodies. But the timeline doesn't match with the Roswell incident that happened in 1947 and not 1950.
Also, your human dummies aren't going to look like little gray aliens.
Yeah, I was going to say, also the alien bodies were measured at 4 foot tall, and the dummies were at 6 foot.
Are you using kid-sized dummies?
Yeah, but the dummies were measured at 6 feet.
Oh.
And all of the aliens, people said they were around 4 feet tall.
Oh. Because short gray men.
Yeah. And weirdly, all records from the 1947 Roswell base from January to October have been destroyed. No one knows who or what destroyed the records.
That's not suspicious at all.
Yeah. Okay, so some of these are the interviews that were eyewitnesses. Over 600 people, ranging from civilian to high-ranking military officials, he interviewed. The researchers were Thomas J. Carney and Donald R. Smith for their book Witness to Roswell: Unmasking the 60-Year-Old Cover-Up. According to a local radio personality at KGFL Radio, Brazel, who gave the debris to the sheriff, admitted that the crash was likely a UFO, and more importantly, that there were alien bodies. So the guy who originally found the crash, he's like, oh no, it was an alien. But he could have just been trying to get publicity.
Yeah. Also, sometimes your memory changes stuff from how it actually was.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a theory that you can influence someone else's memory just by saying little things.
Yeah.
I remember that person having a green shirt, and it's no, they had a purple shirt. And then their memory rewrites themselves as that person having a purple shirt, but they originally did have a green shirt.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of fucking terrifying that you can do that with someone's memory.
Honestly, you can't trust your own memory, which sucks. Because, it's influenced in so many different ways, and, over time, little details get fuzzy, and, yeah.
Yes. The minority owner of KGFL, Judd Roberts, said that the emission was not aired due to phone calls from the FFC and U.S. Senator Dennis Chavez urging them not to. And also, Brazel came into a lot of money after the interview was not aired.
Really now? I wonder why that is.
Yeah, the military also reportedly threatened locals to keep quiet and ransacked their homes for crash site materials.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that does sound like that sounds like the U.S. military. Colonel Hunter G. Penn admitted to his I don't know what that word is. Oh my god. His foster daughter. He admitted to his foster daughter. It looked like it. Look like the word father.
We apparently can't read our own handwriting.
He admitted to his foster daughter that he was tasked with enforcing an info blackout, which focused it on the little bodies and was authorized to use physical force and weaponry if necessary to get this accomplished.
Again, sounds about right.
Yeah. A sealed statement apparently written by Roswell Army Airfield public official Walter Halt, which was to be opened after his death, claimed that the photo in General Ramsey's office with the crash site materials, with also Jesse Marcel, which happened because the guy fucked up and said that it was a UFO, said that the actual crash site's materials were substituted with a weather balloon and was photographed with Marcel. Camera at home also. Ben Games, a personal pilot of Major G. Lawrence Craigie, chief of the engineering division at Wright Field, which is the Air Force, where it was thought that alien and UFOs were transported and housed. He got involved, and Games flew General Craigie to Roswell to see the records, and after a few hours got flown back directly to D.C. to meet with President Truman, in which Craigie assumed the position of Chief Director of the Air Force and co-founded Project Sign, one of the first official investigations of UFOs by the U.S. Air Force.
Okay. Interesting.
But that wasn't released until, like, the 1990s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's Roswell, New Mexico.
Fun.
I think it was possibly aliens. There's also, like, a theory that they were testing planes.
My thing is, they're never going to tell you what it actually was, so...
I don't know. If we were visited by aliens, I think they would make themselves known more to just our government.
I don't think they'd want to make themselves known. I mean, humans are pretty terrible in general.
How do we not know aliens are also terrible? So do you think there was aliens at Roswell, New Mexico?
Possibly. I mean...
Maybe. I feel like we were visited by aliens at one point in our existence, and then, like, years later, like thousands of years later, they were like, yeah, those people weren't that cool, so, like, we're gonna put that on our blacklist and never come back.
Understandable. I would too if I could.
Welcome, surprise guests, Jordan and Brianna.
I guess we have the guest episode covered for this month. Okay, so I did the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. You know what? I didn't get a lot about his earlier life. Oh well.
Had one job. Kidding.
Listen.
I'm kidding.
So he had a total of 150 flying hours, a Class 4 instrument rating, and can fly at night.
Cool.
He had applied for the Royal Australian Air Force, but was rejected for lack of educational qualifications, but was part of their air training corps.
Corpse. I know you said course, but it sounded like corpse.
Okay. He failed all 5 commercial license examination exams twice, plus 3 others in addition.
So was he like a bad pilot, or did he just not know how to take tests?
It seems like he was an okay pilot. Oh, I guess he wasn't an okay pilot. He was involved in multiple flying incidents.
He was involved in flying incidents like crashes?
No, not crashes. Just like doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So, you know.
Like barrel rolls.
He was also...
Not supposed to do those?
He also was apparently an avid believer in UFOs and was afraid that they wouldn't attack. On October 21st, 1978, he contacted the Melbourne Air Traffic Control around 7 and reported an unidentified aircraft following him, which I'm going to play the audio. Here it is. This is what he was saying.
This is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? No known traffic. Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet. What type of aircraft is it? I cannot confirm. has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity? No known aircraft in the vicinity. Seems to be playing some sort of game. He's flying over me. Delta Sierra Juliet, it's not an aircraft, it's... Can you describe the aircraft? As it's flying past, it's a wrong shape. Cannot identify it, it has such speed. It's before me right now, Melbourne. How large would the object be? Seems like it's stationary. What it's doing right now is orbiting. The thing is just orbiting on top of me.
Cody.
It's also got a green light and a sort of metallic, like, it's shiny on the outside. It's just vanished. That strange aircraft hovering on top of me again. It's hovering and it's not an aircraft.
So...
That's where it stops?
Yeah. That's where he lost contact and just disappeared after that. So you hear him say it's not an aircraft at the very end before everything cuts out and he disappears.
Whoa.
So you hear him describing it.
Yeah.
And like that's flying around erratically and then just like behind him flying pretty stationary after that. And
like
then
above him.
Yeah. And then you hear him saying, okay, it's not an aircraft, and then everything cuts out. After that, he just kind of like disappears. And the search, there was a sea and air search that was undertaken, but ended on October 25th with no results. So they found nothing.
They
after
just
that.
Vanished.
Yeah.
Although
they were
Amelia Earhart also just vanished.
Yeah. They were unable to determine a cause, but presumed it was fatal because
he couldn't.
If you can't find anyone,
you can't find anyone, then they're dead.
Most likely. 5 years later, a engine cowl flap was washed ashore on Flinders Island, and from the serial numbers, it was determined to have come from a Cessna 1A2 aircraft, which is what he was flying. So they kind of figured it was his.
Oh, fun.
But they can't fully confirm it because they only have partial serial numbers and stuff. So some theories were he faked his own death because his aircraft was never picked up on the radar. Like his aircraft was not on the radar.
So if his craft wasn't on the radar, that means the other one couldn't have been.
I mean, they didn't have any other aircrafts on the radar either that night. They said that in the audio.
Yeah.
And there was a report of an aircraft making a mysterious landing around the time of his disappearance. They're like, maybe that's him and he just disappeared. Which, if he was trying so hard to get his license and stuff,
yeah,
I'm not sure why he would have. I mean,
maybe it was a situation where he could only fail it so many times where he can't do it again. So he had to like fake a disappearance and then become a new person to like restart over.
Maybe. Another theory is he became disoriented and began flying upside down, and the lights he saw were his own reflected in the water, and he accidentally flew in the water and drowned.
But they would have found something, wouldn't they?
I mean, not really. He was
the
ocean.
The ocean's huge. Wait, if he was flying upside down, how was he like so, like?
Yeah, it didn't sound.
It seemed like he wasn't
like fully
pretty
freaked
calm
out. Yeah,
in the recording. If he was flying upside down, wouldn't you have like somewhat? Like a difference in your voice.
Yeah, and if he was that disoriented, I don't think he would have sounded as clear on the radio as he was. Another one, and the final one. Are you ready for this? He was abducted. Apparently there were multiple reports of a erratically moving green light in the sky, which would have matched up with his story, because he did mention a green light on the aircraft was following him. And then a picture taken by Roy Manifold shows a fast-moving object coming out of the water near the Cape Otway Lighthouse, which, let me pull it up. I'm not sure about this one. It really could have been anything.
What is it supposed to be, a plastic bag? It looks like a plastic bag in the wind.
Yeah, they're telling you.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Like a plastic bag. Like a plastic bag.
I mean,
it kind of looks like a parachute. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or a turkey.
But they're saying that this was apparently it coming out of the water.
Like the aircraft?
Yeah.
Like the
That's
UFO?
what they're saying, is it's a UFO. They're saying it is a fast-moving object coming out of the water, is what they're calling it.
They don't even have a ripple in the water, though.
I mean,
There's no ripple in the water
Yeah.
to make it seem like it actually was coming out of the water.
that picture, I don't really...
Yeah, it
there's
looks like
nothing
it's
clear
probably just
about
a
it.
smudge
It
on
just...
the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But, I mean...
I do believe in aliens.
The
but,
audio recording...
I'm not going to be crazy.
Super weird.
That was kind of creepy.
Creeped me out.
When you played it to me last night, I was like, that's freaking me out. Don't play the rest of it.
Yeah. I made the mistake of listening to it while I was home alone, and then right after they walked in, and I had my headphones on, I just heard a noise and scared the shit out of me. So...
Oh no, I'm also getting abducted. Shit. What is the consensus on this couch right now? Jordan, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Do you believe in aliens, Ray?
Yeah.
I believe in aliens.
I mean, we all believe in aliens.
Okay.
But the question is,
have they visited us?
are they still visiting us?
Do they abduct people?
Do you believe that the UFO sightings and all that are real? And abduction stories?
I mean, a UFO is anything you don't know.
I mean, yeah. But like...
So if you see like a bird off in the distance and you're like, what is that? It's an identified flying object.
Yeah.
A UFO.
I mean, you're not wrong. How do y'all feel about aliens coming to Earth?
I don't feel like we're cool enough.
Yeah, I feel like they have their own stuff to do.
I feel like
If
they
they
hate
have
us,
the
and it's
technology
understandable.
To
Like, why
travel
would they
light
use
years
it to
through
come see
space.
us?
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Like, they probably have their own planets. Why would they be like, let's go to this other place and take their people?
You know Star Trek, right? The movies. And there's like a planet.
I've never seen any of them.
There's a planet of like like it's alluding to like them being Native Americans, and they have like primitive technology, and the people from the Enterprise cannot interact with
The
them.
prime directive.
Yeah, you can't interact with them because they're not allowed to know that more technology exists other than their own. They have to discover it on their own. So that's probably how aliens feel about us. They're like, you're not quite there yet. We'll give you a
No,
minute.
they probably see us and are like, God damn it, they're terrible.
We're like, you guys are so stupid. We're like their little pets.
Follow us on Instagram at phantom_psychos.
Follow us on Twitter at phantom_psychos.
Check out our Patreon, Phantoms and Psychos.
And if you'd like to watch this in a visual medium, follow our YouTube at Phantoms and Psychos.
Also, check out our website, phantomsandpsychos.com.
Have a spooky day, and don't get abducted by aliens. Or do, if you want.
I mean, live your life.
Do you?
Have fun.
You do you, boo.
You do, you boo.
Bye.
Bye.